Hello everyone, it's Mark. I am the Sanderson Collector, and it is Sunday, January 13th, which means it is the second week of the month and time for the Country Spotlight. This month, it's going to be the United States. I hope everyone had a great week of reading and collecting and is ready to learn a little bit about Brandon's United States publishing, and in particular, Brandon's United States novel publishing. When I was preparing my notes for this episode, I realized that Brandon has something like 25 different places that he has been published in the United States, between magazines and games and anthologies and one-offs and specialty presses and things like that. And I realized that that would be too much to go over, and that a lot of those would just be, here's one little thing, and here's one little thing, and here's another little thing, and it would probably get really boring being a list like that. And so I decided that I am going to limit myself to talking about the publishers who publish Brandon's novels, and there are 5 of those, so I'm going to talk about those 5 today. The first publisher on the list is the one that most of y'all know about, and the one that you probably associate with Brandon, and that is Tor. Tor publishes all of Brandon's Cosmere novels. They have published Elantris, both the original edition and the 10th anniversary edition with the 10th anniversary text from the leatherbound. They published both the original Mistborn trilogy, Mistborn, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages, as well as the Era 2 Mistborn books, currently The Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, and Bands of Mourning, with The Lost Metal yet to come. They published Warbreaker, and they published Brandon's main series, The Stormlight Archives. In addition to the Cosmere novels, Tor also published Arcanum Unbounded, the collection of all of the Cosmere short fiction to date, some of which was originally published by Brandon himself, some of which was originally published by small presses, and so on. Tor has not published very much of Brandon's non-Cosmere fiction, but among the things that they have published are the Legion bind-up and the Wheel of Time series, the last 3 books of which Brandon wrote after Robert Jordan unfortunately and untimely passed away. The Wheel of Time books are actually why Brandon chose Tor as his first choice publisher when he was breaking into the industry. He had read these books and been a fan for a long time and said, those people, the people who publish Robert Jordan, they're the people I want to publish my books because I want to write big, awesome books like that. Tor also publishes the paperback editions of all of the books that I've mentioned previously. Most of these have the same cover art as the hardcovers. There are a few that do not. The first and second printings of Mistborn have this cover art, which was thankfully changed to this cover art for third and later printings. The Well of Ascension has this cover art, and The Hero of Ages has this cover art. And those are the Brandon Sanderson books that are published by Tor in the United States. Brandon also publishes books with 2 other parts of Tor. He publishes some of his YA books under the Tor Teen imprint. The main book that Brandon publishes with Tor Teen is the Rhythmatist series, which has the Tor Teen logo on the spine with the mountain with a little star over it. There is also a YA version of the Mistborn trilogy that looks like this, that also has the Tor Teen logo because it was published with Tor Teen to be marketed to the YA audience. The covers look like this, and this, and this, and I really like these covers, so I am glad that they put these out, even if I do not agree that Mistborn is a YA series. And then the re-release of the Alcatraz series, including the only publication in the United States of the 5th Alcatraz book, are with Starscape, which is the Tor middle grade imprint. That brings me to the 4th of Brandon's 5 U.S. publishing imprints that he works with, and that is Scholastic. Scholastic originally published the first 4 books in Brandon's Alcatraz series before deciding that they did not want to publish anymore, and it was several years before the rights went back to Brandon and he was able to sell them off to Starscape and get the new editions published. The final of Brandon's U.S. novel publishers is Delacorte Press, an imprint of Penguin Random House, and they published the Reckoner series, Steelheart, Firefight, and Calamity, as well as Brandon's newest novel, Skyward. Now, I have mentioned for several of the books that I showed that they are from various imprints, and an imprint is basically a small publishing house within a larger publishing house, and each of these imprints also has in-house editors. At Tor, Brandon mainly works with Moshe Feder. He has a separate editor at Delacorte, and so on, and they work with him specifically to edit the books when they come in and work to edit other authors who work under that imprint. The imprints are mainly decided, as you might have guessed, by what market the book is aimed towards. Brandon's adult books go with Tor, Brandon's YA books go with a YA publisher, Brandon's middle grade books go with a middle grade publisher, and so on. There are 5 big publishers in the United States. You'll sometimes hear the term Big Six, but the 6 merged into 5 back in the middle of 2013 with the merger of Penguin and Random House, which was shortly before Steelheart was published. And so Steelheart was published by Delacorte Press, and Delacorte is an imprint of Penguin Random House. Brandon works with 3 Tor imprints, Tor, Tortine, and Starscape, and all 3 of these are imprints of Macmillan. Macmillan and Penguin Random House are 2 of the current Big 5 of publishing, the other 3 being Hachette, HarperCollins, and Simon & Schuster. And the original Alcatraz printings were done by Scholastic, which prints many kid books, and Scholastic is the 6th largest publisher in the United States. The Big 5 account for about 60% of the books published in the United States, and so they have the majority of the book sales, and that's why they're considered as that group. And then there's a sharp drop off before the number of books that Scholastic sells. But all of Brandon's novels have come out with the 6 largest publishers in the United States. If you're ever waiting for a Brandon Sanderson novel in the United States, it will come out on Tuesday, just the same way that new movies come out on Fridays of each week. There's obviously no translations to the books in English because that's the language that Brandon writes them in, and so there's no real interesting translational quirks or anything to talk about for today. So that's about it for this video. If you have any questions about Brandon's United States books, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And next month I'm going to start talking about Brandon's UK editions. So until then, happy collecting!